I've had like a mini roach nail for one time. It was only my pinky. My pinky is like are the only two nails that grow like perfectly lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else grows at a snail's pace, especially my thumbs. So like I could have nice nails, frog thumbs.
Frog thumbs?
I don't know why I thought frogs, but that's what I'm going to call them. Frog thumbs.
Frog thumbs.
I look at my thumbs, I think frog.
Okay.
I don't know why.
We're doing it.
That's fine. That's okay for the internet to know. It's fine. It's okay.
You want to do show?
Yes.
Okay. All right,
That's what
let's
I'm
go
here
frog
for.
thumbs.
Oh, thanks. Zombie frog thumbs.
Woman,
Yes.
trim,
Zombie Hannah frog thumbs.
chores, always done, not a hair out of place. When the husband comes home, she greets him with a smile.
I'm sorry, what the fuck?
Are you tired of Hitler?
Have your mercy.
Okay, one liar as a kid can find another liar.
I want that stricken from the record.
How else is she gonna learn if she doesn't have a feather?
I can go fuck in the big house.
You're a mess girl. I am here to audition for Babysitters Club extras.
I brought my own hammer.
Welcome back, or if you're joining us for the first time, welcome.
Welcome.
This is A Well-Behaved Women, a podcast for girls, by girls, with sometimes dudes and
Some dudes are allowed.
some dudes allowed.
Yes.
Yes.
We're open to all people as long as they respect.
I'm your host, Lauren Schill, and I am joined by Zombie...
Hannah Frog Thumbs.
Zombie Hannah Frog Thumbs.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
And maybe we'll drop in the Patreon why I just invented that nickname.
Oh, that went on air.
Yeah, I guess it did. But yes, welcome. We're glad to have you here. We are back, and we're ready to hear about somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who it is, though.
I'm going to give you a heads up. Your chair is very squeaky whenever
Okay.
you move.
Okay, luckily I'm not moving too much.
Okay.
I'll give you a heads up, though, if I feel like I need to readjust.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right, now that we have chair, what is it called? Oh, no, I had it in my head and now it's gone.
Chair SMR?
No. It's a public service, PSA. Whew.
She worked
I
so
had
hard
to work
for that.
so hard. I kept thinking
So
it started
hard.
with an A, and I'm like, no, there's an A in there,
my
but it's not the
God.
first letter. And I was like, what does A stand for? Announcement, and I worked backwards.
Announcements, announcements, announcements. A terrible way to die. A terrible way to die. Terrible way to talk to death.
What?
A terrible way to die. Announcements, announcements, announcements. Again, again. They're killing us again.
What is this from?
I really don't know.
You don't know, but you just
My
know this
mom used
song?
to sing that all the time.
Oh,
I think it
like,
was,
am I supposed
it
to
might
know
be
that?
from a movie. It might actually be from the military. I'm not sure.
Oh, and see, that's very nice and cute, and I love that your mom was singing. My dad would just quote Die Hard, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, and I would just be like, but he'd say,
Yippee kayak, other buckets.
or something. Yeah, it would be yippee-ki-yay. Every once in a while, he'd say the real thing when I started getting into middle school, and he'd be like,
Ooh, he cursed.
yeah, but he did it quietly, so he'd be like, yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers.
Motherfuckers.
Gotta love them.
Oh my God.
Well, speaking of,
You want to do a show?
yeah, we were talking.
We're
We gotta
gonna-
keep talking, but we gotta talk about something
Yep.
important.
We've got some important people to cover today.
All right, people.
We are not joined by B. He
No.
is doing other things, and he will be back with us when he's back with us.
Yeah, he's got a lot on his plate, so we'll be able to take over until he's got it all.
That is okay. We are having a great time
Girl
with
time.
we're going to have more guests. I've got episodes coming up. We're going to have some of our favorite people back on. And yeah, it'll be a fun year anyway. So we're going to do a show.
Love. All right, this year in history. That's my best attempt.
I love it.
Thank you.
The Computing Tabulating Recording Company rebrands and renames itself International Business Machine, or IBM.
IBM. All right, so this is when they rebranded. All right, next one.
The Second Hellenic Republic is declared in Greece.
Don't know much about Greece history.
And then Adolf Hitler is sentenced to serve 5 years in prison for his part in the beer hall putsch. And the 8-hour workday is introduced in Belgium.
Okay, well, Hitler gives me like 2 world wars to work with here. So it's either during or after World War One, or it's before he killed himself at the end of World War Two.
Okay, so what are you going with?
Could remind me what his charge is for the beer hall.
He played a part in the beer hall putsch. So I actually just read about this in my my bedtime tome. He walked into this beer hall while some people were talking, and he basically held up some people at gunpoint and was like, "We're gonna make a republic, and these guys are not gonna leave the room until we make a republic." And then he did, and then people got out and were like, "No, we're not actually gonna make a republic. Fuck that!" And they put him in prison.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. It's after World War One.
Yeah.
And World War II didn't start till 1939 officially, and he had gained a lot of steam up until then. So this has got to be right before he built up a lot of steam. I think he used his prison sentence as part of his, like, kind of like how Trump is doing his shit now. Oh, they're persecuting me. They're persecuting me. So I'm going to put this at like 1934. I'm going to just put that as my guess.
1934.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you got over, so...
Ah, damn. No. Maybe it's a good thing I don't know so much about Hitler.
As a former trombone player, that is like the number one thing we're taught to play on that fucking horn.
How could you not? It's like bass players in the Seven Nation Army bass line.
And then the other one is that...
Oh, see, I would go a lot of bump, 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 bump. Bump, 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 wow. Like somebody fell down the stairs. I don't know. I can't do trombone stuff. I'm a bass player. I know. Bum, 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 bum. That's like what you learn on bass when you're like waiting to play an orchestra.
White Stripes.
Yeah.
I like it. I immediately lifted my arm up to go boom, 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 boom.
Oh,
boom,
to keep going for the song.
Amazing song.
I love a lot of those albums.
All right. So we're sitting at 1924.
Oh, shit. I was a decade late.
Yeah. You were way off.
Oh, damn. This is before World War One?
This is this is the first time he tries to come and be someone, and they're like, fuck that. So they arrest him and he serves prison time. This is before he comes to power.
Yeah. So World War One was when? Like 1908?
It ended 1918.
Oh, it ended in 1918.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it didn't start till then. So it was like literally from what? When did it start? I don't know much about World War.
1914?
So it was only 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And I guess World War II was 6 years.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So he was like popping out of World War One going, oh, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, he was feeling his oats and he got too big for his britches. And
I can do this shit. And then that's kind of what he was saying.
And then the narrator goes, he could not do this shit.
No, this was not his time.
All right. So in 1924, Enrique Mirabal Fernandez and Mercedes Reyes Camilo were both landowners in the most popular region of the Dominican Republic, a place called Cibao.
So you say Mirabal, I immediately think Disney's Encanto.
You have no idea how hard it was to do research on this. You remember we talked about the lanterns?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Same shit.
Same, like there's
Same
like no
shit.
information?
There is, but it's hard to...
I see.
You have to sift through the fandom shit.
Okay.
They had a farm in a little town called, at the time, Salcedo.
Beautiful.
The Mirabals had 4 daughters. The first was born in 1924.
What was her power?
Patria Mercedes Mirabal Reyes. She was
names are
known
gorgeous.
as Patria.
Patria. Oh, I love these names. I'm sorry. I'm in love with
They're gorgeous names.
Oh.
She was born in February.
Okay.
The second daughter was born the next year in March. Belguisa Adela Mirabal Reyes. And this one was affectionately named Dede. Or Dede, I think.
Dede. Oh, that's cute.
And I don't know what the fuck is in the water in June or July in these islands, because the next March, the third daughter was born.
Okay.
1926, and now the Mirabals had 3 daughters under 3. The third daughter's name was Maria Argentina Minerva Mirabal Reyes.
All right.
They called her Minerva.
Minerva.
The Mirabals took a break from children for a few years.
Ah, yeah, I would if I were her. I'd put my foot down like, this is enough right now. I need a moment.
You see this? You see this shit?
If you want access, you gotta like wait in line. A line of 1, ideally, but just wait.
This is a water slide.
And wait until
No.
Yeah, the lifeguard
Closed
said
for
no.
business.
You are not allowed to go down the chute until they
No
tap
entry.
you. I get it, girl. I get it.
Oh my God.
But okay, so they were just parenting at that point.
Right. But they also had businesses to run.
Oh yeah.
So in
They're very
addition,
busy.
in addition to owning their farm, they ran a general store and a coffee mill in the town of Ojo de Agua.
Honestly, if I could run a coffee mill, that'd be great.
I know.
I would love to have a job that's just back to something simple, very, very pleasing. We love coffee.
Yep. In a small place like that, it was literally just a local, like people's plants, locally plants, and then they ground it locally.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Telling you guys, we're going to have a commune someday. I'm just saying.
The girls went to primary and elementary school in the school townhouse that was in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And the family was solidly middle class.
Okay, they're doing it.
They're doing it. They were wealthy enough to send their daughters to private Catholic boarding school.
Mm-hmm.
And they would get invited to the parties of important rich people, but they weren't by no means themselves the filthy rich.
Huh.
They were just solid middle of the
They,
line.
Brushed elbows with some
Yes,
of the
they
filthy
brushed
rich
elbows
people.
with important people. When Patria was 11 and Minerva was 9, the Mirabals welcomed what was probably, quote unquote, a happy surprise daughter to the
Got
mix.
frisky one day and... the lifeguard tapped him in, and look what happened. We let you
Entry.
back in, and then you
Open for business.
Yeah.
In 1935, they had Antonia Maria Teresa Mirabal Reyes. They called her Maria Teresa.
Maria Teresa. Okay, I think. All right. Okay.
In 1938, when Patria was 14 and Minerva was 12, the two went to Catholic boarding school in the town of La Vega.
La Vega.
They attended together for 3 years, and when Patria was 17, she left school after she fell in love with and married a farmer named Pedro Gonzalez.
All right.
They had 3 children together.
Did
And-
you say, okay, that's it? We're going to stop for a moment? Lifeguard's tapping you out now?
No, I think just they spaced him out a little bit more. She had time to heal.
Okay, so they were going at a nice even pace.
So Patria left. They had their babies, and Minerva continued her schooling until she was old enough to graduate.
Cool.
Dede, for her part, was really not into school, and she wasn't kind of into the stuff that her sisters were into.
Yeah,
when
she
she grew up, she got married and she lived that housewife life. She wanted to be a homemaker. She had a couple kids.
I mean, it's valid.
Yeah.
It's, it's a valid choice.
So we're not really going to hear much about her.
No, I figure.
Just spoiler alert, Dede doesn't really show up again until much later.
Bye.
Minerva
Sorry,
and
girl.
Patria had been learning for quite some time, though, that there were some people in the world who were big, bad bullies.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That you're going to run into a few of those.
Minerva even had a friend whose father had lost in the fight against the big bad bully of the Dominican Republic, the biggest and baddest of them all.
Who's that? Uh-oh. It's a news bulletin.
Elsewhere in the Republic. All right, this is from a YouTube video I watched about this guy.
Okay.
Quote, try and picture the stereotype of the 20th century Latin American dictator. What do you see? We're guessing it involves absurd military uniforms, callous disregard for human life, and an ego so big it could be seen from space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
A lot of dictators, I feel.
yes, all of the dictators. Yes. Now take all of those qualities and dial them up, inflating each one until it becomes just a mere caricature, a cartoon villain of a human being.
Yep.
Yep. You got it?
Yeah.
All right.
We have
now,
a modern day example that is on the cusp.
yeah. So congratulations. You're about halfway to imagining the absurd, bloodthirsty tyrant that was Rafael Trujillo.
I've never heard of him, though.
Oh. Ho, ho, ho!
Oh, shit. Okay. What are we up for today?
Now, dictators are never just born. They're usually made, and they're made from extreme overcompensation for other areas of their life, right?
Oh, you little fuckers.
Yes, you little
You
fuckers.
little fuckers.
So let's turn back time a little bit more, back to 1918, when the Dominican Republic was under occupation by the U.S.
Oh,
Yay!
no, uh-oh. What did we do again?
Well,
we've made so many of these people.
So, yeah, we're occupying the Dominican Republic, and the National Guard for the nation is just a baby of a thing.
Yeah.
Rafael Leonidas Trujillo started... Leonidas.
Oh, there's some of that ego there. They baked it
Yeah.
right into him.
Right. Well, that was his baby name.
I know.
Like,
still.
he started big and bad, you know? But he started like many other dictators kind of started. There were no ones in their military. He
Yeah.
was a grunt.
Uh-oh. And he hated it.
He hated
You
it.
can tell.
But he knew how to manipulate things. So almost immediately, he got his greedy, shitty little fingers into all sorts of shit. And he made friends with the Marines in the area, and when it was discovered that he raped and blackmailed a 16-year-old girl, they were very quick to acquit him of the charges.
Why?
Because,
Man.
yeah.
Oh.
And because he got along with the guys. He's like, come on.
I was just messing around. I like beer.
Come on.
I like beer with PJ and Tony.
Okay, I mean, she has all the evidence, yes, and she's horribly traumatized. You can see that in the way that she conducts every moment of her life. But come on.
I'm just one of the guys. Oh, you pieces of shit.
Oh, and forgery. Sorry. So I guess he
don't
made
forget
paperwork. Yeah, he made paperwork that said he didn't do what he did, and then they tried to charge him with that as well. But
And then he got
But
off.
they were unsuccessful. Yeah, he got off on that. Right. So, in fact, the very next year, he was promoted to lieutenant. And 3 years after that, he was promoted again to captain. And he was given command of an entire company of the guard.
What did he know about them? What did he have on these people? Or how badly
He was just
did
good
he
at making
schmooze?
connections.
Yeah,
he was
schmoozed.
good at schmoozing.
Fucking schmoozers. Use
Or
your
he
powers
got
for
rid
good.
of people. He made the right met the right people and made the right friends to
Yeah.
where he was able to just kind of manipulate his way.
Probably stepped on a few people too.
Yeah. So he was given that entire company, like he was put in command of that whole thing. But the very next year, he was promoted again to a major. And then he was given a command of an entire district. A lot of people, a lot of dudes.
I really wish I knew how he was doing this.
It's, yeah.
More
it sucks.
schmoozing, but like, how are you schmoozing? How are you making these connections?
You're talking to the right people and probably raping people with
Oh,
each other. I mean, I can't imagine that happened in a vacuum. So he probably knew
No.
shit about others too.
yeah, these people tend to find each other.
Yeah. So things apparently went so well under his command that in 1924, the president of the Dominican Republic named him the commander of the national police.
Oh, fuck. That is the worst place to put someone like this.
In 1928, he was promoted to brigadier general, so he's got this fucking meteoric rise to power. And it's very clearly a combination of both making the right connections and also keeping your ear to the ground
Yeah.
in search of the next thing you can do, of the next person
Right, looking
you can...
for the next opportunity.
Yes, the next connection you can make. And as it turned out, the next thing he could do was assist in a rebellion against the reigning governmental authorities of the time, aka his boss.
Oh, fuck. He's doing a coup.
He's helping with the coup.
He's helping with
There's a coup happening, and he's like, I see my opportunity.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So he learned that there was some dissension among the people of the nation, and there was that coup that was being planned, right? So he waited for the opportunity, and when the rebel leader Estrella came and carried out that coup d'etat in Santiago against President Vasquez, Trujillo decided that that was the opportune moment to strike. So he was fucking shrewd. This was brilliant. I'm just going to go ahead and say fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it's hard. People with high IQs, if nobody's really supporting them in a healthy way, they're going to find their opportunities and then they'll take advantage. So not everybody with a high IQ, but some.
So Trujillo meets with Estrella and he's like, okay, here's the deal. I don't care about Vasquez staying where he is. I have hella problems with that guy. Mm-hmm. So I will keep my police away from the area. You can go ahead and take him and you can take the city down.
I see.
I don't give a shit. But when you do that, you will allow me
something.
Yeah, you got to give me the opportunity, just the opportunity to run in any election in the future for the position of president.
I mean, the underlying tone.
So, like, when you carry this out, you can go ahead and take him out, right? Yeah. But when it comes time for a presidential election, because you're going to have one, just let me run.
Yeah.
Let me throw my name in.
Oh, against him.
Yeah. And so Estrella's like, sure.
That's what I was missing. I'm sorry.
So Estrella's like, sure. Yeah, whatever. If we live through this, sure, you can run in the next election.
That's so stupid. This guy's dumb. You're going to let him run against you. And he's got the police.
So Estrella's rebels march across the entire island towards Santo Domingo, and they're going to take the capital. And Vasquez is like, hey, Trujillo, you're in charge of the Capitol Police, maybe. Maybe deploy these police. We need help. And Trujillo decides he's going to be neutral, and he keeps all his people in their barracks as the rebels just march right on past. And they take the city without much loss, without much fanfare. They got it.
Okay.
He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I missed your call.
I'm sorry, new phone. Who dis?
New regime. Who dis?
Yeah, new regime. Who are you?
So now what does a dude like Trujillo want to do in a position as he is in?
I don't know. I don't think like this.
Estrella is now in charge, and Trujillo is quickly put in charge of the police, obviously, and of the army, because why not?
Right.
As per their agreement, Trujillo runs for president, and Estrella is also put on the ticket as his running mate.
Yeah.
He's like, you can be my VP. And then Estrella's like, sure, whatever.
But what position is Estrella?
Estrella was the guy that was in charge of the coup.
But, like, what's his position now that the regime's changed?
He is the president until he decides he doesn't want to be president anymore, which is the election. He's running as VP, so he doesn't want to be the president.
Oh, so he doesn't
He just didn't want the other guy. He didn't want Vasquez in charge. Okay. So he took the Vasquez down so that he and his government could be in charge, but he doesn't want to be president.
Okay. I was confused on that. My bad.
So Estrella's put on the ticket as the running mate, and anyone else that was campaigning, anyone else that was running, is harassed by the army until it becomes obvious that there's no point running against Trujillo.
Yeah.
And then he wins an implausible 99% of the vote. The American ambassador in the nation at the time noted that there were more votes for Trujillo than there were actual voters on the island.
I was worried about that. I'm like, this is very unlikely.
Yep.
Oh, that's fucking shit.
So the fucker gets into power and pretty much immediately starts his dictatorial decrees.
Douche.
This is compounded by the fact that only a few weeks after his rise to power, the town of Santo Domingo was hit by a terrible, terrible hurricane.
Oh, fuck.
San Zenon came through and quite literally ripped the town to shreds.
What?
Yeah, the homes were destroyed. It was a hurricane.
That's the name of the hurricane.
Yes.
Oh, I was like, who's this?
Why is there a hurricane?
Who's this coming into town, ripping the town to shreds? Why?
The hurricane.
Okay, the hurricane. God, if you will.
It's just nature. Mother Nature came through.
She could be a bitch. I get it.
As a way to, quote unquote, unite the people, Trujillo placed the island under martial law.
Oh, no.
Because of the fact that it was an emergency. They rebuilt Santo Domingo, and Trujillo had it renamed for the Rebirth. The newly coined Trujillo City, or Ciudad Trujillo, was the new capital.
Ew. So egotistically disgusting.
We'll just rebuild this city and name it after me.
I hate it. I hate it. It makes me feel disgusting.
Throughout the entire country, monuments, memorials, statues, all of these things erected in honor of his grand efforts for the island.
Ew. Every statue is just, it reminds me of like what pharaohs used to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. He thinks of himself that highly.
This all happened within the first year of his presidency.
Oh my God, at
1 year.
lightning speed.
Yes. By the first anniversary, the only political party was his party. The government employees had to, quote, donate a tenth of their earnings to the government.
A donation.
And
that's a fee.
That's a tithe.
He's just
it's
putting
a governmental
nice
tithe.
Yeah, he's just putting nice words on it.
And anyone who got in this guy's way had a special habit of being disappeared quickly.
Oh God, no. Fuck. This is terrifying, terrifying, terrifying.
That was in 1930 to 31.
Oh God, it's just so scary.
I know.
This guy's just wiping this whole place into what he wants, right? Just waving a wand.
Yep. I mean, literally, it was his magic dick wand.
Ew.
So we are going to fast forward. We have fast forwarded 19 years.
Oh, shit.
Trujillo has been the big man in charge, or the GOAT, as they called him, for quite some time.
Heart attack. Heart attack.
You're not going to get that lucky.
God.
You're such an optimist. And
I know.
There's no reason for these stories if you're that lucky.
Why am I this way?
Why are you the way that
Look
you
in the
are?
mirror. Who are you?
You were traumatized so much in your past that you want to have positive associations now, and so you just hope for the best.
Yeah, I watched
and
a lot of
refuse to
TV.
believe that there might be any worse outcomes than the best
No,
ones.
I just hope for, okay, it's almost over. That's what I'm always hoping for. Come on. This guy goes away. He dies. Goodbye.
Why are we mentioning him?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would not have spent the time.
I'm trying, girl. I'm trying.
Spoiler, something happens with this guy, okay?
I mean, he eventually dies, so eventually I got him.
So he's been the GOAT for a long time, and some of the time has been official, and some of it has been unofficial, because at some point he did get voted out. He wasn't president for about 12 years, but then he came back in power, and he was basically in power behind the scenes when he wasn't in power.
Got you. He always had his hands.
He'd been the
He's
puppet
like
master.
sand.
Yes.
It's everywhere.
Yes.
He's everywhere.
He was everywhere. He see it, he like it, he want it, he got it. And if he
Shit.
didn't get it, he killed it.
Oh, that's like 8 rings.
So back to Las Hermanas Mirabal. The
Encanto.
girls had finished school, and 2 of them were already married.
Good for you.
Minerva had wanted to go to law school, but it was a very delicate time in the nation's history, and a girl at school wasn't exactly safe.
Yeah, you probably, you're not. I would get 3 locks on that door.
So the family knew very well who Trujillo was, and because he'd been the dictator for almost the entire lives of these daughters.
Yeah.
Patria, Minerva, and Maria Teresa were already involved in local activism and had absolutely zero love in their hearts for the ruthless dictator.
Oh, yeah. So they're outspoken.
Yeah. Patria more
That's
than
dangerous.
pretty much anyone else.
It's very dangerous.
So the family, as I mentioned, was not upper class, but they were important enough to get invited to some pretty fucking good parties.
Woo!
It was at one of these parties that Trujillo met the Mirabals for the very first time.
Okay, I'm a little tense. What's going to happen?
Now, Minerva was a famously good-looking girl.
Uh-oh.
And when
I
Trujillo...
mean, good for you, girl, but I'm sorry. You're going to catch some attention you don't want.
Yeah, you go, girl, but also, oh, man.
I'm really sorry for you. You're a target now.
So when Trujillo made eyes at her and she didn't make eyes back at him...
Oh, no!
It was not a good thing.
He see it. He liked it. He wanted it. It looked away.
It looked away.
Now the only option is
Death. So he propositioned her. She turned him down.
Oh, no.
They left the party.
Oh.
So he
left the
invites,
party.
he throws a party this time. Now he throws a party
no.
and he invites the family. He is like, well, you come to my party then.
No, I don't want to go on your turf.
And this was a
No.
these are invitations you don't reject. You don't just say no to Trujillo.
Asterisk, if you reject, you'll regret it.
So Trujillo's parties were pretty infamous, at least for women at this point.
Oh, really?
If he wanted a certain lady, he'd make sure he got her, willingly or not.
Oh, no.
Rape. That's what he'd do. He'd have his way.
You say that word and like a shock goes through me. I feel for these women, oh God. You have to go. So try to make yourself as incognito, plain Jane as possible.
Right, because if he spots you and he decides that he wants to... By the way, he's married.
Oh,
Have
fuck.
I mentioned this?
No.
This is like, he's on his third wife by this point. So
Shit.
yeah, like he's married. So the whole family goes to this party and they're being very polite, but by this time they knew the purpose of the party was to get into Minerva's skirts.
Yeah, he'd already seen her. It's unfortunately too late.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay. So how did it go? Did she?
So the family didn't abandon her. They kept an eye on her. And when Trujillo propositioned her yet again, she turned him down much more firmly and the whole family left the party.
Okay. They've survived 2 parties so far.
Yes. And that's another thing you just don't do. You don't leave his parties early.
Oh, shit.
So she was 23 at the time and he was like a million.
Ew. No,
I'm
how
just
old?
kidding. No, he was actually like 58. So
Still.
over twice her age.
He was 35 years older than her. I almost said 55. I meant 35.
And married to his third wife. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
So like a very good melodramatic king, he threw a giant tantrum right after they took off from his party. He was like, they left.
The fragility of these men. It's just
Of this man.
Yeah, I guess when you think you're a god on earth.
Honey, I'm right here. I was standing right beside you the whole time. You asked to fuck her right in front of me. What the hell?
I mean, to him, who's she? Like, his wife? Yeah,
I'm
sure,
your
whatever.
wife.
Whatever. All right. I am a god on earth. I am everywhere in this town. Women want
I'm a good melodramatic king.
Women all over the country look at my statues. I can do whatever I want. Just be glad you got the ring and the paper.
So the Mirabal parents knew this was a fucked up move on their daughter's part.
Yeah, they knew.
She was now an enemy, and she was much worse a target because she was still pretty and still around.
Yeah.
And it changed the way that they had to do things. When Minerva wanted to go to university to study law, the parents said, fuck no.
Yeah, you can now.
We cannot. We're not letting our daughter go to school
You
where
have
she
to
could
stay
get involved.
here.
Yeah. She could get involved with politics, or worse, she could be murdered.
Yeah, why don't we just like put you up on a leash out in the yard? Like you can get outside.
They literally kept her safe at the farm. Okay,
that's what I figured.
You hit the fucking nail on the head.
It's country Rapunzel.
She and Patria continued on with their learning and activism against the regime, but it was on the home front.
Yeah.
Maria, go ahead.
Oh, I just said local, grassroots.
Maria Teresa and her husband also joined in on the activism. They were, as they
didn't like.
They were kind of getting of age as well. So the word activism, right? It's an easy word to slap onto like movements, but what does it actually entail? We've all seen environmentalists who caused the death of Eleanor Shellstrop with the clipboards and the good causes.
Oh, yeah.
They're activists.
Looming outside your grocery stores.
Waiting to pounce.
And you could get hit by a row of carts at any moment. It's just too dangerous.
And be shot into a oncoming truck for erectile dysfunction pills.
Oh, God.
The protesters, for whatever reason, are activists, people that go out into the streets. They show up to show support. They're bringing numbers by being present. They might hand out flyers for one reason or another. There's also the movement of political campaigning as activism. Mm-hmm. You can be a lobbyist for a cause. Even lobbyists, yes, lobbyists. Those are also considered activists.
Ew. I don't know if there really are anymore.
People who petition for things. They're activists.
Corporate payroll.
All of us are activists anytime we vote.
Yeah.
So get out the fucking vote, people.
Yeah.
My favorite of the activisms, public watchdog groups that work towards organizational transparency and make companies and governments accountable for their actions, or at least that's the dream.
I like that.
But the easiest and the most popular form of activism, and by far the most dangerous, is talking to people. Helping educate the public about things and seeing if you can help bring people to your cause.
Yeah, because you're putting yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Your identity will be known.
The Mirabals, minus Dede, were pretty...
Yeah, Dede is out. Dede does not give a shit.
She's got her husband and her kids, and they just have their own life, right?
I'm out. She's like, this is my family now.
Yeah, pretty much. But the rest of the daughters, they're pretty active in at least a few of these arenas. I don't imagine many elections were carried out with a dictator. But
nah, he's just kind of like, you all know who to vote for, right?
Exactly. There wasn't even a point in showing up because it didn't matter.
He's like, we don't got to do these anymore. It's just a formality.
So for 5 years, the next 5 years after these parties, the Mirabals kept Minerva away from school.
That's pretty successful. 5 years.
Yeah. Patria had gotten married. She'd had children. So had Dede. Minerva was just stuck at the farm. Maria Teresa was still in school, and in 1954, she got accepted into the University of Santo Domingo to study mathematics.
All right.
And at this point, Minerva's like, come on!
I know, it's got to be so frustrating for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but would you, okay, yeah, go do that, but then you're going to die.
So her parents finally let her go to school, basically because she also went to Santo Domingo.
Okay, so your sister's there.
Your sister's there. She can keep an eye on
you. Oh, okay.
But she got in there and she got herself into law school.
Fuck yeah, girl, finally.
Yes.
Oh, she probably kissed the floor of the building when she got there.
Right?
I would have.
So I'd imagine it finally allowed it because Maria Teresa, she kept an eye on her. Minerva had a fucking great time at school. She was allowed to be outspoken. She was by far the most vocal of the daughters, especially in terms of their cause.
Yeah.
She even met Manolo Tavez Justo.
Manolo
Justo.
I love that name, Manolo. It also makes me think Manolo Blahniks.
Mm-hmm. So she later married him, and she was a fellow activist against the dictatorial regime, and both of them were activists together. She did incredibly well at her studies. She graduated summa cum laude as the first woman to graduate from law school.
Hell yeah!
She also got her honors and degree stripped away from her on graduation because she had turned down Trujillo. They were like, well, you earned it, but also you didn't because,
you wouldn't fuck this guy.
Yeah. He had her arrested and jailed a number of times.
On what fucking charges?
Because
he's
sometimes literally he would just like the orders could only have come from him.
Yeah.
And they would just arrest her for no fucking reason. But things really, really ramped up in 1960.
Oh shit.
So in the meantime, like in the 50s, Maria Teresa, she met a man named Leandro Guzman. When he went to hold her hand, she kind of pulled away. She asks him point blank. She's like, what do you think of Trujillo?
Oh, yeah. No, you got to get through my questions 3 first. I need to know where do you stand? Gruff. This is rebel pussy only.
Rebel pussy only. I love that. Well, and without a moment's hesitation, this kid goes, my whole family, we all hate the dictator. Fuck him.
Okay,
so they got
hold
married.
My hand. Oh, shit. Hold on. Put a ring on it. Okay, now you can hold my hand.
Yeah, literally. They got married. Nothing hotter than when someone hates the same dictatorial regime that is trying to murder your sister.
Sometimes you really bond with someone when you both hate the same person. It is
oh my God, yeah.
just the best friendship sometimes.
There's no love like shared hate.
Oh.
Oof.
Good for them.
So he also joins in on the activism. And
Excellent.
So he and his wife, they're their sisters, the husbands. It's a nice family cause.
Love it.
So 1960 comes around and things have been bubbling to the surface for a while. We talk about this in a lot of episodes. It's this slow simmer of injustices that just anger and oppress the whole fucking time until things cannot keep going the way they are.
Layer of oppression on layer on layer, and eventually you're just like, fuck off.
Kind of like right now for the working class.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Yeah, we'll get to that another day.
So their cause for the most part was still a set of well-organized whispers. The fear of being caught and murdered for being a dissident was far too great to allow for any type of mass organizing.
Yeah, no, it's all got to be on the DL at that point.
Exactly.
You got to have coded letters, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah.
1000%.
Excellent.
The government could raid at any moment and you didn't want to get caught with your pants down.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
But in January of 1959, the sisters and their husbands had had quite enough, so they decided to make a campaign, a real concerted effort, a movement of revolution. The movement didn't even have a name. It was just a group of citizens who knew each other and knew they all wanted Trujillo out. And through very quiet and very covert operations, were slowly trying to build an army to their cause.
News.
We get 2 of them this time.
News.
Elsewhere in the resistance. Elsewhere in the resistance.
Let the hate flow through you. Sorry.
It is. Come to the fucking dark side.
Yeah.
And that's because hella shit's about to go down. So
Yeah.
we need context for what's happening.
Okay.
Because as our Lord and Savior of podcasting, Dan Carlin, always said, context is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Context is key.
I bet he also does a little snap right after that, too.
He doesn't,
Oh,
but
that'd be great if he did.
I could imagine him doing that like for an audience if they wanted to, if they actually asked him to do a snap.
Snap
He
for
probably would
emphasis.
lean in. So it's 1959. Trujillo has been in power now for 29 years, and people are tired of him. He is known for jailing and murdering anyone who crosses him, and worse, to those who actively oppose him.
Oh, yeah. That's the, bread and butter of a dictator.
Exactly. So with that in mind, on June 14th, 1959, a group of exiled Dominicans worked with Cuba and their government to try and invade the island.
Ooh, shit.
It was ultimately unsuccessful, and those who were captured by Trujillo's men were brutally tortured and then outright murdered.
God, this guy is just rough. Like, this is brutal.
Well, this specifically, it was a very public event, and it turned the tides for Trujillo. People were like,
too
"No,
scared.
fuck this."
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
The event specifically shifted a lot of people towards a revolutionary organization, one that now had a name.
Oh.
It was named uncreatively the June 14th movement
Oh.
because of the people that were lost on June 14th. The
Okay.
leaders of the movement were known as Las Mariposas, or the butterflies.
That sounds familiar.
This was in honor of Minerva's underground name,
She had an underground name?
La Mariposa.
DJ La Mariposa. I'm just kidding.
DJ Mariposa!
No, but that's cool. So she was already working pretty...
With her siggity sidekicks.
Yeah. She was like working on the underground low profile network.
Yes.
So she's gotten some notoriety.
Yes. So Patria, Minerva, and Maria Teresa and their husbands all are active in this whole thing. Together, they are serving as the leadership of the J14 movement.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, quote, everyone in the family, including Patria's teenage children, helped distribute pamphlets about the many people whom Trujillo had killed and obtained materials for guns and bombs to use when they eventually and openly revolted,
Oh, fuck.
end quote. In January of 1960, the Mirabals and their husbands stated their formal objectives of the June 14th movement, namely democracy, a new leadership, and economic changes.
Yeah, something's got to change around here.
Yeah. It was just stated in a meeting, but word got out. And soon after this, those same fucking popo showed up at the doors of the people of the movement.
There's a mole.
There is, duh.
Yeah.
So they beat and tortured the members, and they sent some of them to prison, and they definitely murdered some of them.
Yeah. I had a feeling that was coming. God.
Yeah.
This is fucking terrifying. How is anything supposed to change? I know that's what he wants, but still.
That's the whole point.
I know.
Also, it's just continued, like, not only did you reject me and you continued to reject me, but now you and your husband and your sisters are a consistent thorn in my side by trying to be like resistance activists. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Not only did the group get a name, but due to the uptick in unrest of the nation, the people were getting even more openly brutal to Trujillo's people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now it's just gotten to the boiling point.
Right. The beatings and murderings of whoever was common, and as was the jailing of Trujillo's enemies. Quote, information of the Rising campaign was silently spread throughout the country, and activists recruited members from different socioeconomic status and professions. Middle-class students formed the bulk of the resistance campaign, and many defied the cautious warnings of their family members. Actually, Whatever, Mom. Actually, many young resistors' parents were members of the military regime.
Oh, shit.
Among the actions taken by these participants were the handing out of leaflets and pamphlets against the regime, camouflaged meetings of protest, symbolic reclamations throughout the countryside, some public declarations, and attempts to recruit government officials or their family members. This could not stand, and Trujillo responded in kind.
Oh, no. I'm worried.
Within weeks of the founding, Trujillo tracked down where they'd had the meeting. It was at Patria's home, so he burned it to the ground.
Oh!
He left her free, but he arrested Minerva and Maria Teresa.
So, well, I guess he's like, yeah, I burned your house down. Yeah, go be free with that. And then I'm going to take your sisters.
Yep.
Oh, these girls.
They sat in jail from January 22nd to February 2nd.
Okay.
The three husbands and Patria's teenage son were also all arrested and jailed.
Just for association.
Right.
Well, they were also active, though, members.
Also active members. True. So it was like just members of the resistance that were all arrested. But because it's all her family, or it's because all their family, everyone in your family is now arrested.
Yeah.
So the husbands served their sentences for some time in La Victoria Penitentiary in Santo Domingo.
Okay.
Now, Minerva was still square in the sights of this fucking dictator, even though she turned him down a really long time ago.
Now he's got her in his clutches.
She was married, and so was he, by the way.
Yeah.
But she was vocal.
Never forget that. How many times have we mentioned it?
He was on his third wife already. She was still alive.
He's not even just married. He's been super married 3 times now.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's married also. Yeah. She has zero interest.
Neither of those facts, I think, matter to him at all.
No, not at all.
He's above all of that.
And so she's super outspoken about this. She's like, he's fucking evil. He's killing people for no reason, and he's treating us like we don't matter.
Yeah.
And
why the fuck would I want to be with him?
Well, also just
he shouldn't be in
he's
power.
Just an evil person. Yeah. And obviously this pissed him off.
Yeah.
So again, he had her arrested and jailed
for talking shit.
I think it was like at least 3 over the year of 1960.
Damn.
So the movement grows like a little fungus, and in a vast underground network, Trujillo and his men lops the head off of like one mushroom, and then there's 7 more heads that pop up just out of sight.
Like a hydra.
Exactly. 1960 is just a violent year. He kills a lot of people. There's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of murdering, a lot of assassinations. I cannot stress this enough. It's a brutal fucking year.
Deep therapy.
Yes. The more violent it got, the more popular J14 got, though.
Of course. Like, you're doing all of these horrible things. You are literally turning the people against you.
Yes. And this is the only people that are able to actually stand up to you.
Yeah.
The members who were jailed were sent to a prison called La Cuarenta, where they were tortured until they provided the government with information that they needed.
It's called the 40.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, this method was effective, and more than once homes were raided to catch the movement right in the middle of a meeting.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, like it was, I mean, there were so many moles.
This guy is just ruthlessly going after them.
Yes, he has set his sights squarely on this fucking group.
I keep pulling for him, and I keep getting disappointed.
Quote, members of the movement spread the stories of the tortures against women and students, and they recounted the infamous conditions inside the prisons.
Yeah.
As a result, the repression and tortures augmented public support for the campaign, since many members of the population were outraged by the treatment bestowed upon their fellow citizens.
Well, yeah. Outrage is an understatement.
Yeah.
This is just... I can't believe I haven't heard of this guy before. Or I haven't been listening.
You haven't been listening.
It's very possible I just haven't been listening.
He's been talked about, but also if you were raised in an American household with American school system, likely you haven't heard of him.
Yeah.
For No other reason other than like he was a dictator. Chapter 12.
Yeah.
Let's go on to Cuba. Like,
Yeah,
other
or-
dictators include this other one and that other one. Like, basically, he would have been talked about in passing, if at all,
If at
in an
all.
American school system.
I think of it more like America's so focused on its own history.
Oh, yeah. They
It's-
don't give a fuck about
They
other
don't
countries.
have, and I know a lot of countries you expect to have some focus on their own because these are, your land, your people, your politics at play. But I mean, we in America, even the American news system now is so American politics focused. I have to go outside of American networks to learn anything about the outside world.
So at the time, none of this happened in a vacuum.
Yeah.
News got out about the jailings and the treatment of these political dissidents, the democratic political dissidents.
Yeah.
And things just finally got to be too much. They were like, we can't just stand by and let this guy. And like, in the meantime, this dude is like shaking hands with presidents of the
Yeah.
United States, like actual leaders of the free world in the EU and shit. He's got
Like they
connections.
It's getting even scarier
Yes, and they're finally like, oh wait, he's a little too extreme for us.
Just a little?
Just a little.
I would say he's past the point of extreme.
In an act of international defiance, one of Trujillo's many enemies, the president of Venezuela, led the Organization of American States, or OAS, to sever ties with
I've
the
heard.
dictatorship.
I have heard of OAS.
Yes. So America, which was a long-standing supporter and friend of Trujillo, a country that likely provided many of these peacekeeping weapons his police used, they finally backed away from supporting him.
That sounds like the America I know.
They
And
had no choice, so they finally had to step away.
you know what's so funny is this is really just calling to mind what's going on now with Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the people of America are calling, the vast majority call for a ceasefire, and Biden has yet to really do anything to help with that because of these long-standing ties. And so, yes, the U.S. presidents have long-standing friendship with Trujillo. So it makes sense that they would wait and wait and wait and wait until finally it was like, in your face.
We have to do something.
Like, otherwise, we're the asshole.
Exactly. Well, we're already the
I know,
assholes.
but like, we're a bigger asshole
Exactly.
if we don't do anything.
Yeah. Even the Catholic Church condemned the actions. They couldn't march and they couldn't fight, but from the pulpit, they were able to decry the regime that had been causing so much violence and death in this island. Now, all of this would have been really scary and intimidating in a normal country, but when you're led in a dictatorship, there's a strong organization of nationalism there, so whatever is within the border is my business, and you can fuck right the hell off.
Yeah, fuck off.
You go away. So the police did what they were wont to do, so they continued on. They did whatever they wanted, and killed and beat and maimed with impunity. So in May, Trujillo decided to have Minerva and Maria Teresa arrested again. Again. And so they served jail time all summer from May 18th to August 9th. Quote, no matter how many times Trujillo jailed them, no matter how much of their property and possessions he seized, Minerva, Patria, and Maria Teresa refused to give up on their mission to restore democracy and civil liberties to the island nation.
Hell yeah, stay strong.
Yeah. That was the quote. Meantime, the husbands are still sitting in jail. Patria's husband was released at some point, but Maria Teresa and Minerva's husbands are both transferred to a different prison.
Oh.
In like a whole different town. The whole nation was just a national shit show at this point.
Oh, it sounds like it.
Yeah. But these sisters knew how important it was to keep going to see their husbands, not just for like their husband's sake, but also for the importance of the movement. They're actually like still running this resistance.
Wait, did you say that they're still, the women, like the Maria and Minerva, are out of jail now?
They get out of jail.
Okay.
They're like, they get released in
so they
August.
continue to see their husbands.
Yeah, so they go and see their husbands in jail. Patria's was at home by this point, but she goes with them to kind of show her solidarity.
Good stuff, good stuff.
Yeah.
Sister solidarity. Love
And the
it.
whole organizational leadership is these sisters, so I would imagine they're probably having their talks while they're there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they do this for a few months, and on November 25th, the sisters went to visit the two husbands in Puerto Plata, and they were accompanied by their driver, Rufino de la Cruz. The visit went well, and the sisters were feeling encouraged on their way home.
Okay.
Until they were stopped.
Ah, there's that shoe drop. I was waiting for it.
Until they were stopped by the police.
God. Why?
And not just any police.
Oh, is it Trujillo's police?
Trujillo's personal secret police.
It's Trujillo's. Oh, Trujillo's.
Victor Alicinio Peña Rivera, Trujillo's right-hand man, along with Ciriaco de la Rosa, Ramon Emilio Rojas, Alfonso Cruz Valeria, and Emilio Estrada Maleta. These are all the police that stopped them.
I was like, is this all one person?
This is all...
I was like, this is a really long name, and then it hit me. It's probably multiple names, Hannah. Glad I picked up on it.
That makes me think there was a very, very specific Tumblr post I remember where you breathe in and you say someone's very long name and someone is like, what? And so then you breathe in and you say a longer name, but it's always a Hispanic male name where it's just so many of these names put together. Anyway, so the authorities stop them. All hell breaks loose, right?
Yes.
These guys take the sisters. They separated them from Rufino. The four of them were then strangled, beaten, and quote-unquote clubbed to death.
Who just died?
The sisters.
All three?
Las Mirabals, yeah.
And so Dede is the only one left because she
Dede is the only one left because she wasn't part of it.
This just...
They took the driver and they killed all of the sisters. So then they take their bodies and then they put them back in the car that they had been pulled out of. And they rolled the Jeep off of the side of a mountain to make it look like it was just these terrible accidents.
All right, nobody can see this, but my mouth was like agape for about 15 seconds there.
Right. I mean,
whoa.
Yeah, it was insane. And it wasn't even a good
Mob
cover-up.
shit.
Yeah, it wasn't even a good cover-up. It's like, oh yeah, they ran off the side of a mountain. Mountains don't cause... strangulation marks.
What do you think happened? The airbag choked them?
Yeah.
Strangled/choked?
So the brazen murder of all four, there's obvious signs of strangulation. The people figured it out really quickly.
It's real obvious here.
Yeah.
Who else has been doing dirty cover-up deaths?
Yeah. So later, Ciriaco said that he'd been looking out for his own life when he helped murder the four of them.
Of course, I had to, or else they were going to hurt me or kill me.
Quote, I tried to prevent the disaster, but I could not because if I had, Trujillo would have killed us all, end quote.
I mean, I can't say he's wrong because I get it. You know who you work for, but then again,
with the way this police force worked and how they carried out the orders, the historians say it was only possible for the order to have come directly from Trujillo himself.
Yeah. That's what it seems like.
This event seemed to light some sort of a fire under the nation's ass.
Oh, yeah. Because by the time that we even got to the point where they got arrested, they were really integral to the movement. Mm-hmm. They've been fighting the nations against Trujillo now.
Yep.
And now he's just made them martyrs for the cause.
Exactly. So Bernard Dietrich, the historian, he said the assassinations, quote, had greater effect on Dominicans than most of Trujillo's other crimes. It did something to their machismo.
Ah.
They're like, this is fucked. Of all the things that are fucked, this is fucked.
Has he killed women before?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well,
but
then, yeah,
it was a brazen murder of, the leaders of a democratic, people-focused resistance to a dictatorship.
Yeah.
I mean, and they were peaceful also. So and these were, beloved figures by this point.
Yeah.
Because this is not a large island. There's a lot of people, but, there's not a ton of people. Right. They knew who these girls were at this point. They knew who Minerva was, who had so rudely rejected Trujillo.
Oh, yeah, because it's her fault.
Right. So on Tuesday, May 30th, 1961, Trujillo was riding in a 1957 Chevy Bel Air when it was ambushed just outside the capital. The ambush had been plotted by at least 2 of his generals and a number of other revolutionaries. He was shot and killed, an infinitely better death than he deserved.
Yeah. Yeah. He deserves so much worse.
No. Just all of the pain, all of the time. That was quick and painless for the most part.
Yeah, he needed to draw that out a little bit. Take a toe.
But also there was a chance that if you draw it out, he could get away when the point was
Not
just
if you take
get
one
rid
foot
of him.
one day and take the other foot the other day, and now he ain't really going many places.
So one of the followers of Trujillo became the president after that, and he ran the nation for another 35 years until people actually made him face his part in the concerted campaign against the Mirabal sisters. He was just as much a part of the fucking efforts against these girls as, not just as much, but he definitely played a part in it because he
made things happen.
Yeah, he made
put
things
in
happen for
motion.
Trujillo. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not innocent of this.
So obviously for their part, Mariposas had become martyrs for the cause, and from then on they were immortalized throughout the nation. In fact, Salcedo is now the capital city of the Hermanas Mirabal province.
Ah, they get their own province.
They have their own province.
Damn right, girls. Is it the province they lived in?
This is
Good.
the one that they grew
it'd
up
be weird
in.
if it wasn't.
Yeah. And this happened in large part because of Dede.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Dede
remember
did
her?
something.
Barely?
Oh, she fucking did
Yeah.
something after they died.
We didn't talk much about her because her husband had famously wanted her to stay away from the fighting. She
Yeah.
kept her head down, and as a result,
get
she
it. I don't
didn't
blame
lose
her.
it.
But yeah.
Yeah. So after the loss of her sisters, she took in the nieces and nephews that had been
Excellent.
orphaned. She finished raising them as though they were her own.
Love that.
And she started the Mirabal Sisters Foundation and the Mirabal Sisters Museum as a way to continue the legacy. She died at the age of 88, quote, and professed her entire life that it was her destiny to survive so that she was able to, quote, tell their story.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Dede.
Yeah.
I kind of wish she had done something a little before, but it's not, I can't blame her because, I mean, you know, her dad also didn't want her to. I mean,
She
it's
kept her
probably for
head.
the best because it means that now we know the story. We know, and their memory has been kept alive.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Dede, and thank you for raising that family.
Yeah. So that is the Mirabal Sisters.
Yay!
Las Mariposas.
Las Mariposas.
Mm-hmm.
Little Pippin, what you think? Pippin has no comment.
I have a walnut head.
I know, you want me to keep petting you. I get it. Don't lick my hands. Your breath is nasty. Oof, and it travels.
I got puppy breath.
You got nasty breath.
It's terrible.
Well, thank you all for listening. If you want to find us, you can find us online at almost any of our platforms at Well Behaved Women Podcast or Well Behaved Women Pod. And you could find more information on each of these episodes on the Well Behaved Women Podcast website, wellbehavedwomenpodcast.com. We put out new episodes every Friday.
Yes.
Yes. And Lauren and I are starting a little side project for fun.
Oh, yeah, we're doing a watch through of The Crown, so I'm going to start kind of putting those episodes between the ones that we do here.
I think we're pretty sure we like a name, but we'll let you know the name soon. More information to come.
Was it the
Crowning was the one I suggested.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay, Pippin. All right, we got to go, peoples. We love you.
We got to go take care of the dog.
Yeah, so it's been a Fecka Podcast.
Bye.